Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Welcome back to this Weekend with Wisdom session on Atma Vidya Vilasa of Sadashiva Brahmendra Avadhutha. And again, a very warm welcome to Swamini ji for this continued marathon session you mentioned in the morning. Vedanta Moksha Marathon. I think that's what you called. So, viewers, Swamini's Svatmavidyananda ji will continue shedding light, going through a quick summary of the Atma Vidya Vilasa. I think when possible, we would love to do a more detailed verse by verse, if not a live session, but at least a recording class in the future of this wonderful text. But for now, I think these set of sessions are very useful because the text is a Nididhyasa text. So a reflection and meditation is what is important. So Swaminiji's very illuminating illumination of various aspects of the text has been will be very useful for this. So without further ado, Swaminiji, please go ahead.
Thank you. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. The text renders itself to roughly blocks of 10 verses, 10, 12, sometimes 13, but generally renders itself to a block of 10, 12 verses, which talks about one particular theme. And the theme that we are currently on, which ends, I think, on verse 32 or 33, I forget. The theme that we are currently on is comparing the Jnani's life through various metaphors that are found in the natural world. So we saw how the Jnani is the swan. The latest metaphor was this: is the Paramahamsa, the swan, which discriminates between the milk and the water and takes in only the milk and leaves the water, even though the two may be mixed up. And so this kind of a mythical bird. And then how the same thing the Jnani does discriminates between the useless things such as the Nama Rupa and other finite objects, and then connects with the infinite Atma, the knowledge of the infinite as oneself. So we have seen many other things. The Jnani conquering the jumping mind like that of a frolicking deer, and all these things we have seen. There are a couple others, one or two other such metaphors. And after that, this section we will wrap up. The next set of it's a slightly longer section, and that section talks about the life of the Jnani, everyday life, what they eat, how they eat, what they do, where they sleep, how they sleep, all these things. And then that will also be very enjoyable, because the Avadhuta that is being talked about here is an endangered, if not an extinct species. So there may be many swamis, meaning the renunciants all over India, and maybe in other parts of the world also. And but the Avadhuta that is described here is a very rare occurrence, extremely rare occurrence. And there are reasons why, and we'll go through the reasons a little later. So, but for now, the lifestyle of the Avadhuta becomes a very interesting. It becomes a very interesting topic of inquiry, because it is so rare to find somebody living like how he says the Avadhuta lives. So with these words and without further ado, let us look at the let me share the text and let us start where we stopped. Yeah, verse number yes, this is the one. Verse number 31. निखिलागम पल्लविते निगम शिरस्तंत्र शीतलोद्याने मधुर मधुरतर मंजुवाचः पूजन्नास्ते यतीन्द्र कलकंठः निखिल आगम पल्लविते निखिल आगम पल्लविते निगम शिरस्तंत्र शीतलोद्याने. So Nigama means Veda. Nigama Shira means Vedanta. The head of the Veda is Vedanta. The whole Veda is for the sake of Vedanta, which comes at the end. So it should be the tail of Veda. Why is it called the head? Is the Nigama doing a Shirashasana? Is it doing a headstand? No. Then why is that which comes at the end? Why is it not called the tail? Why is it called the head? Because that is the most important part. All right. If Vedanta is the most important part of the Vedas, then why does it come at the end? It comes at the end precisely because if it were there in the beginning, nobody would understand it. So the preparatory portion is the Karma Kanda, where the mind and the heart are prepared for this knowledge, and then the most important one is the most important thing is served in the form of the knowledge of the Upanishads. You are free and whole. It's just like if you go to a formal dinner, the main course is not served first, right? Or even let's say the dessert is not served first. Main course is not served first. First there'll be some drink and then appetizer, some juice will be there and some appetizer will be there. Then after that the main course comes. So even though Upanishad is the main course and the first portion of the Veda is the appetizer, without the appetizer, without eating the appetizer, the main course will not make sense. So without the first indulging in the first portion of the Veda, and which gives the preparation, this doesn't make sense. So Nigama Shiraha means Vedanta. Nigama Shiras Tantra means depending upon the Upanishad. So depending upon the Upanishads, what is there? A pool garden, Shitala Udhyana. Shitala Udhyana. Udhyana is like a meadow, a garden. So in this cool garden of the Upanishads, which is the head of the Veda, and which has where the Nikhila Agama Pallavita. Pallavita means populated by the plants, the foliage of the entire Veda. The entire Veda is the foliage, and the main piece here in the garden, the main wonderful portion of the garden is the Upanishad, and in this Upanishad garden, with the foliage of the entire Vedas, what is happening? There is a bird that is cooing, warbling, singing, however you want to say it. And what kind of a bird is it? Don't look at the translation, because it says swan. Swans don't sing. They're not they're not known for their voice. They're known for their looks. I admit that, but they're not known for their voice. It should be either a nightingale or a cuckoo bird. Any bird that sings we can take. And so that bird is the Yatindra. Yatindra means the here there is a Bindu missing, Yatindra, it should be the Nakara is missing here. So here, Yatindra Kalakantha. So the Yatindra means the king among the ascetics. So the king among the greatest of the ascetics is the cooing, warbling nightingale, singing what? Madhuratara Manjuvachaha, with the sweetest words and with a lovely voice. What does it do? Pujan aste. Pujan means cooing. It's a onomatopoeic onomatopoeic dhatu, because it sounds exactly as it sounds exactly as how it is written. So pujan aste. And we see this in that famous verse also by Kalidasa, Pujantam Rama Rameti, similar kind of a thing. Madhuram Madhuraksharam, Aruhya Kavita Shakha, Valmiki, this is the Valmiki Kokilam, like that. Kokila is the same thing. Having climbed on the poetry tree, the bird is singing. This Valmiki in the form of the cuckoo is singing Rama, Rama, like this. There is another verse which might have borrowed from this one. It's reminiscent of that. And so Pujan Aste remains warbling what? Sweet words of the Upanishad. In the Upanishad garden, surrounded by the foliage of the Vedas and Madhuratara Manju Vachaha. Manju means sweet, very nice, sweet words, beautiful words, lovely words. The Yati is speaking. So the Yati is, does that mean the Yati is musical? That's not the idea. Musical means it is harmonious. So the speech of the Yati is measured and harmonious. And what is the Yati doing? Teaching. So here verses, just to sum up the verses from all these different kinds of metaphors. The sky of consciousness, the sun and the moon. So it's for quite some time we have had this. So let's see, 23 maybe. No, 24. Let's see. Yes, so from 23 onwards, from 23 to 31, we have how the yogi interacts with the world. How does the yogi interact with the world? That is the subject matter of this discussion. All these verses. So till 31, I think. Where are we? We are on 31. Yes. And no, till 32. And from 33, another topic comes. So till 32nd verse, we have this whole group of verses talking about the engagement of the jnani with the world. How do they come across? How do they stand out? How do they present themselves? And how are they unique among everybody? And how do they teach all these things? And how do they help the universe, help all the people in the universe cross samsara? All this is talked about. And this is a very beautiful section. And the last verse of this section goes like this. Darita moha madebha दूरीकृत सकल दुरित शार्दूल विबुद्धोत्तम सिंहव विहरत्यानंद वितत कांतारे विहरति आनंद वितत कांतारे आनंद वितत कांतारे विहरति roams around where in the forest which is a spread out form of this ananda, swananda, one's own ananda. So this yogi, the yogi roams around roams around. And who is this yogi? Vibuddha Uttama Simhavaraha. So the yogi is now likened to the king of the jungle. The king of the jungle in the form of this wonderful lion, which roams around freely because it's unafraid or insecure of anything at all, because everybody bows down to it, and it is the this is the now we have many versions of this film called Lion King. This is Lion King 1. Okay, yeah, this is the original Lion King. We've had many versions of it, but now this is the original Lion King. Who is the original Lion King? The original Lion King is nothing but this yogi. This yogi, this ascetic, this great enlightened person is the yogi, and this yogi lays in the forest. What is the forest made up of? It's just made up of acreage of Ananda. The yogi's own Ananda is this forest. Kantara means kind of a wooded area, forest, like this. So, Vitata Kantare Viharati Ananda Kantare. So, in the forest of Ananda, the Lion King in the form of the yogi is roaming around fearlessly. But it was a close call. Why was it a close call? Because before he became the king of the forest, he had to vanquish two competitors. So, two competitors, one was delusion, and the other one was the pride, pride and delusion, and moha and mada. And moha means delusion. Delusion is a prasada of Atma Ajnanam. So delusion means Atma Ajnanam. Because of self-ignorance alone, there is delusion. Why else will there be delusion? The self-ignorance alone brings about the delusion. So, so that had to be conquered. Meaning, self-ignorance had to be conquered. And then the mada, the pride, also had to be overcome. And why? Because, as they say, the pride always comes before a fall. And when there is pride, there is no place for the knowledge, because the person has become a know-it-all. And if I already know, why Guru? What is there to know? Nothing to know. I can myself say, I know everything, I know. I know Sanskritam, I know this, I know that, I know what enlightenment is like because I have studied Atma Vidya Vilasa. Like this one can go. I have read it, not even studied it, read it. Like that people can go. But then that denies one the ability to roam freely in the forest of Ananda, unassailed by any inimical creatures. That is the idea. That's why the Lion King, and that's why I said this is the original plot of the Lion King, from which they have made all these movies, I suppose. But here, this is the original story of the Lion King. All those others are not the real story. This is the real story. The Lion King is the Yati, the ascetic. And so then, these two, delusion and then pride, arrogance, have to be vanquished. How is that done? Dharita moha mada. So, Dharita means torn asunder. The one who has torn asunder the moha and the mada, delusion and pride, in the form of ibha. Ibha means elephant. Elephant has many synonyms. The word elephant has many synonyms. Hasti, Gaja, all these things are there. And here, Ibha. Ibha. So look carefully there. Mada, Ibha. Madebha. Madebha. And since it is followed by a soft consonant, it is become Madebho. So Madebha. So this Ibha, this elephant, which is in the form of moha, so we take it kramena respectively, the elephant is vanquished torn asunder. And elephant, why is it moha? Because the elephant is not generally associated with moha. But since the moha is big, the elephant is also big. That is why the elephant is chosen. The moha is huge. The delusion is huge. There is no such thing as I am just a little bit deluded. If you are deluded, you are entirely deluded. And so the entirety of the delusion to depict the elephant has been chosen. It's not that in the Vedanta Shastra or in the Sanskrit poetry there is any kind of a connection between the elephant and delusion. It is not there. In fact, the elephant represents everything auspicious. But here, the delusion is so huge. It weighs a ton, and it can even block off the sunlight if it is standing in front of it in the sun. So therefore, it casts a huge shadow, and that's why the elephant is chosen for depicting what delusion. Delusion from one's own nature, ignorance of one's own nature that leads to wrong understanding of oneself, others, the Jagat, and Ishvara. This is what delusion is. It covers many topics and it is huge, so therefore it is unendingly colossal like an elephant. Then, next one, Duri Krita Sakala Durita Shardulaha. Duri Krita means having driven away for good. Usually you see, because the poet is very faithful to animal behavior. The big cats generally don't kill each other. They are territorial, but they will drive one another off their territory. So the lion has driven out this Shardula. What is this Shardula? It was already talked about as it is, Mada, pride. That's why it gets annoyed, it gets angry, and it pounces and jumps, and it's dangerous. But then it is Durita. Durita means also the Shardula, the tiger of bad karma. Durita means bad karma. That's why before the puja, there is a sankalpa, and in the sankalpa, one says, Mamopatta Durita Kshayadvara Sri Parameshwara Prityartham Aham Idam Karishye. So all the karmas, Mama Upatta. So the earned by me, all the karmas which are there, in order to neutralize them, I am doing this ritual, I am doing this puja. So that is Durita. So the Shardula in the form of bad karma, which is also in the form of Mada, pride, etc., is the one that has been driven away from the forest. And now that the inimical things are gone, there is no need for the Lion King to be afraid. The Lion King is all knowledge. Vibuddha Uttama Simhavaraha. It is the king of the forest, and it is lording over the entire forest. And of course, the forest is this inner realm of Chit, etc., as we have seen before. So in that forest of Ananda, Chidananda forest, in the Chidananda forest, Viharati, the person sports and plays in the forest without any inimical issues there at all. So now, just to show that the elephant is not the baddie here, another verse is talked about. I think it is to redeem the elephant from being the villain. So let us look at 33. अज्ञानमृगवरः शिखरितले मतिसलिलशीतलाङ्गः यतिमदकलभो विराजते विहरन्. Read that again. अज्ञानमृगवरः उज्झितविज्ञानोत्तुङ्गशृङ्गशिखरितले मतिसलिलशीतलाङ्गः Yatimadakala virajate viharan. Another synonymous word for elephant, kalabha. Kalabha, elephant. So Yati Madakalabha means like a very, what should I say, confident and a kind of the powerful elephant here. Mada here doesn't mean pride. We should not take it as pride. It is a powerful, self-confident elephant. So, who is the ascetic? The ascetic is likened, the ascetic who is enlightened is likened to this powerful elephant. And what does it do? It has ajnana mrigavara ujjita. So, ujjita means decimated, killed, and driven away. No more in that place, driven away completely. What is driven away? Mrigavara. Mriga here is not deer. Mriga also means some beast. Having driven away the beast. And what is the beast here? Ajnanam. What kind of ajnanam? What kind is there other than Atma Ajnanam? So, having driven away the beast of delusion, or rather the beast of self ignorance, and then Vijnana Tunga Shringa Shikhari Tale, and then on top of the peak of enlightenment, which has been made free of the beast of ignorance, self ignorance. So the elephant in the form of the yati roams around, virajate, shines and roams around. And what is this yati? Mati salila shitalangaha, the one whose body and mind are like cool water. Nothing fiery about the yati. Cool as water is the body, meaning not agitated or restless. Cool as water is the mind. And then this yati elephant, yati kalabha, what does the yati elephant do? Virajate viharan, shines as it moves about. Where does it move around? Vijnana, Vijnana Uttunga Shringa Shikharitale. So it moves around on the peaks, on the mountain range of knowledge, of enlightenment. Moves around on the mountain range of enlightenment, on the peaks of the mountain range of enlightenment. This yati moves around, having vanquished and driven away what? The beasts of delusion and sorrow, fear, etc. And what are they? What are they caused by? Self-ignorance. Having driven away the beasts of self-ignorance, the yati moves around freely on the top of the mountain range. That is the idea. Now, from the 34th verse onwards, it takes a turn. It goes to the second topic which I discussed earlier. How does the yati live? How does the ascetic live? How does this mendicant of knowledge live in the day to day? What do they do? Where do they stay? Etc. etc. Let us chant this one. नासाञ्चल निहिताक्षः नामादिभ्यो निवर्तितः स्वान्तः तटनीतटेषु तत्त्वं ध्यायन्नास्ते यतिः कोऽपि. Nasanchala nihitakshaha means the one whose eyes are fixed to the tip of the nose, means it is a meditative posture. So the yati is the one whose eyes are fixed to the tip of the nose. So the eyes have come close, the eyeballs, and they are fixed at the tip of the nose, getting ready to meditate or in meditation. And then नामादिभ्यः निवर्तितः स्वान्तः. Namadibhya means from Nivartitah means the one who has reverted, come back. Come back from what? Namadibhya, from the obsession with addiction to names and forms. Nama and Adi means name, form, and color, etc. All these things, or the three dimensions which we say, space, time, and object, all these things. So name, form, etc. This Nama Rupa. And from there, from the obsession with objects, the Swantaha has turned towards the subject, to oneself. The focus is no longer on what are they doing, what is this person doing, how could they do this, how could they tell me this, why did they do this, why did they not do this. That is not the focus. So Namadibhyaha Nivartitaha. Nivartitaha has come back. Come back where? To oneself. Oh, but then if I come back to myself, it is even worse because I have so many problems, and then I feel all the regret, the guilt, the hurt, and all these things. That's not the idea. Because the yati means this kind of a yati has worked on himself, herself so much that because of the force of the Atma Jnanam, because of the knowledge of the self that has been totally and fully internalized, there is no fear of spending time with oneself, because the I has been completely repatriated with Satchidananda. The Satchidananda Atma alone is recognized as the I. That consciousness, which is all knowledge, which is the only thing that is existent, and which is endless, limitless, that alone is me. This ascertainment has taken place. And so, therefore, because of the force of this understanding, when one reverts from naturally the obsession with and the addiction to nama, rupa, etc., all drop. Once they drop, what happens? One naturally reverts to oneself, and a self that is placid, that is calm, and that is free of any guilt, hurt, and any painful feelings coming up, even if 5 minutes one spends in one's own company. That is not there at all for the yati. Tatani tateshu. Very nice alliteration. Tatani tateshu tatvan dhyayan aste. Beautiful. So, Tatani Tateshu means at the banks of the rivers, the Yati stays. And what does the Yati, how do they spend their time? Do they go shopping? Do they have a pair of binoculars and they are bird watching? No. Are they are they having a picnic on the beach, on the riverside? No. What are they doing? Dhyayan aste, contemplating on their own nature, having lost interest in all the finite objects in the universe, because they much prefer their own company, which is focused on the infinite, which is in fact the infinite. So this is why they keep dhyayan here means they not meditating, contemplating. They are in constant contemplation, and this is the very beautiful verse. Very nice. So this is the activity of the Yatindra, and so this is the having withdrawn from the world, they meditate on the Tattva. Tattva means the essence of the Upanishads. Tattva, and the Tat means that. Tattva means Tattvam means thatness, and the Brahman is always referred to by the word Tat. Why? Because Brahman is not locally available. And since Brahman is not locally available, it feels remote. So, from the standpoint of the ignorant one, it is always Tat. Somewhere far away it is, and it has to be meditated upon, contemplated upon, like that. And so, it is called Tat, and that. And the essence of that, when you make the word that into an abstract noun, we get the word Tattva, Tattvam. So Tattvam Dhyayan Aste. Always the Yati is in contemplation of the truths of the Upanishad, which happen to be non-separate from their own nature, And so they are constantly contemplating on their own nature. And when they contemplate on their own nature, they are contemplating on the truth of the Upanishad. There is no difference because the yogi has become the Upanishad here. Okay, next one. आशावसनो मौनी नैराश्यालङ्कृतः शान्तः करतलभिक्षापात्रः तरुतलनिलयो मुनिर्जयति. Beautiful poetry. Here also there is a very nice, what is that, comparison going on. Asha vasanaha and then nairashyalankritaha. So, Asha Vasanaha, Asha here does not mean desire, okay? We have to be careful here. Asha means the, what is that called? Firmament, horizon. Means the space. Asha here means space, the firmament, the horizon, the directions. So, Asha Vasanaha. Vasanaha means clothes. The one whose clothes is the horizon. The horizon is one's clothes. West is the top, east is the easterly direction are the pants, and the north is the topi, headdress, and then the south is angavastram. Means what? They don't need to wear anything. Yeah. This is what is called Digambara. So these Digambara saints in India, they don't wear anything. Dikkeva ambaram. Yes, yeah, for whom the clothes themselves are all the directions. The directions are the clothes for whom. This is another version here. Asha vasanaha. Clothed by the horizon. The horizon is my frock. The horizon is my dress. Meaning, there is no need to dress. Oh, but how can they go around naked? Well, this is something which is very interesting to discuss. How can they go around naked? Means, see, we have some kind of a prejudice against nakedness. There is shame, there is prejudice, and all these things. We don't like to see anybody else naked, much less we want to go out in the world naked. Both those things are abhorrent. No, nobody wants to do that. Why? Because there is body consciousness. There is body consciousness. And I am like this. And then we have been taught in the whole, all the, as children, the entire population has been socialized. Certain parts have to be covered. Says who? The society says. Certain parts have to be covered. For men and women, certain parts should never ever be exposed. And this is all the result of socialization, the results of growing up in a society where we learn this kind of a body consciousness. And since the body is taken to be the I, so therefore one says, I have to be dressed properly. Everything has to match. And there is a lot of pressure. See, if you wear clothes, think about it. They wear out, first of all. Then you have to go buy new ones, or you have to ask somebody to give it to you. And then after that, what? Then you have to wash them all the time. And then you have to read the labels. Don't use hot water. Yeah, one will say dry clean only. All this is a headache. It's a total headache. It's a total headache, because then you have to think of, okay, use mild soap, then you have to look for soap, then you have to wash, then you have to find a place to dry it, then you have to wait till it dries. And then if you're living in the city, then even if it dries, it becomes all wrinkled and crumpled. You can't go to work like that. Then you have to iron it, or have somebody iron it for you. What a headache. And then, if there is no body consciousness, I am this body, iti mindset is not there at all, then for whom is the clothes? Oh, for the society. Well, I am not in society. I am living somewhere in the forest. So why do I need to wear clothes? No, but the people may come to the forest. Well, it is their problem. It's not my problem. If they come into into this terrain where I am, then it is their problem. And so this is this is all a big headache. And you have to so without being a yogi also, You can you can have this kind of a privilege by joining a nudist colony or a nudist society in Western countries. Such things are there. And certain beaches, they are all near the beaches somewhere, and it'll say nudist beach in big block letters. It'll be put right at the entrance of the beach, and then you look at that board and then you turn around. You turn around and not go there because you don't want to see all that. And then so there is the policy of that beach is no clothes at all. So if you are ready to take off all the clothes, then you can go there. So but here this is not some kind of a contrived. The yati is not part of a nudist colony. Okay, the yati, because of their knowledge, this yati is free of the ahankara, that the free of the notion that I am as good as this body. The yati is free of the notion, and then so therefore there is no need for the clothes, and there is no need for all the preoccupation with the clothes. What shall I wear today? And how to iron, how to wash, how to dry, where should I find a dry cleaner in the forest? All these things we don't have to worry about. So asha vasanaha and mauni, generally silent. Mauni is also a name for the sage, because who else keeps silent? So generally, who is fond of silence. And then nairashya. Nairashya is an abstract noun of nirasha. Nirasha and nairashya. Nirashasya bhava. Nairashya. Nairashyena alankritaha. So the one who is wearing jewels. What is the jewels? The jewels of nirasha. Nirasha generally means hopelessness, but here it means non-expectancy. Not hopelessness, non-expectancy. There is no expectancy here at all. So, nairashya lankritaha, adorned by non-expectancy, wearing the chudamani, the crest jewel, the crown jewel of non-expectancy. And since there is not any thing that I want to eke out from the universe, I'm naturally peaceful, shantaha, full of peace. And then what happens? Karatala Bhiksha Patraha, the one who has a begging bowl in the hand. And then where does he or she stay? Tarutala Nilayaha, whose home is the foot of the tree, the root of the tree. And Munihi, this kind of a sage, is the Jayati. Jayati means let there be victory. I salute that sage. Victory be to that sage. You know, for this sage who is so self-contained that the clothes are for him or her, the directions themselves. We have saints like that. There was a saint in the 8th century, Akka Mahadevi from Karnataka, and she didn't see the reason why to wear clothes. And of course, everybody made fun of her and pelted her with stones. And then some sages in the forest told her, at least grow your hair and cover yourself with it. So she grew her hair. She had very long, luscious hair, lot of hair. And so she covered herself with her own hair, but was walking without any clothes in the forest and composing all kinds of poetry, very beautiful poetry. And so, Tarutala Nilayaha Munihi Jayati, adorned by total freedom from desire. Nairashya lankritaha shantaha. Okay, next one. विजननदी कुञ्जगृहे मञ्जुलपुलिनैकमञ्जुतरतल्पे शेते कोऽपि यतीन्द्रः समरससुखबोधवस्तु निस्तन्द्रः. Again, very beautiful verse. Vijana means Janarahita, the place which is free of people, deserted place. So Vijana Pradesha, a very deserted place, Nadi Kunja Grihe means on the bank of the river, which is kind of a little wooded area by the bank of the river, like a grove, overgrown with lots of trees, plants, creepers, etc. So this is where where does this person sleep? This is where the yati sleeps. The Avadhuta sleeps in such a place. And then, if supposing they get bored of that, where will they go? Manjula Pulina Eka Manjutara Talpe. Talpam means bed. Or they make a bed out of the Pulina means sand, a sand bank of the river. So sand bank, is that a word? I don't know. Sand bank, yeah. So an area where the soft river beach. So just like the ocean has a beach, there is also a little sandy beach, which is full of sand and silt by the side of the river. So they make that their bed. So the soft sand is the bed, and the soft sand, Manjula here means soft sand is the soft bed for the yogi. And though you don't have to worry, is it hard, is it soft, how to sleep here, and nothing. It is already God made by bed. Shete. Shete means sleeps. Shing Shayane. Second conjugation. So, Shete Kaha Api, somebody called the Yatindraha, the king of the yogis, sleeps. And here again there is a kind of a alankara. There is a very nice alankara, contrast alankara. And here sleeps what? Sleeps but is awake. Nistandraha, ever alert. Alert to what? Alert samarasa sukha bodha vastu. Ever alert to the vastu. Alert to the vastu. Vastu means the truth of oneself, the reality. The only thing that is worth being called a thing. Every other thing is really nothing. So the word vastu, which means a thing in Sanskritam, is really is only used for this Satchidananda Atma. Everything else is avastu, not a thing, because it depends on this I alone. So, and what is this I? This is the samarasa. Samarasa means unchanging. Unchanging sukha bodha. The sukha which is in the form of the bodha, that kind of a unchanging sukha. And to that unchanging sukha in the form of knowledge, one is ever awake. And then Shete means what? One is asleep to the duality. One is asleep to division. One is asleep to conflict. One is asleep to argumentation. One is asleep to krodha, kama, etc. All these things. One is totally asleep. But one is very much awake and playing in the truth of one's own nature as constantly happy and in the form of abiding in the form of this knowledge. Very nice. So, very nice sleeping and waking. It is like it is like that. I think it's the 70th verse or the 69th verse or something in the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. And there the comparison is made. And then Ya Nisha Sarva Bhutana Tasyam Jagarti Samyami Yasyam Jagrati Bhutani Sa Nisha Pashyato Munehe. So for the seer, for the Muni, which is who is the seer of the truth, who is the liver of the truth, who is the seer of the truth, for this Muni, for this yogi, the yogi is awake. Where? In that night, in that which is night to all creatures, the yogi is awake. Oh, what happened, you poor thing? Did you drink coffee too late at night? That's why you're awake when everybody is sleeping? No, no, no. This is something else, completely different altogether. This is not about insomnia of the yogi. The yogi is not awake while everybody sleeps because of insomnia. It has to be taken again metaphorically. And then Yasyam Jagrati Bhutani, in which daytime all the beings are awake. Then Sa Nisha Pashyato Munehe, for the yogi that is night and the yogi is fast asleep. So the yogi is fast asleep to that reality in which all the beings abide. And what kind of a reality is it? It is a finite reality. It is an existing transactional reality, an empirical reality, which of course folds into the absolute reality, has come out of the absolute reality, and is sustained by the absolute. And so here the beings are only awake to that empirical reality which they can objectify, which they can touch, which they can feel, which they can look at, etc., etc. They are asleep to the reality in which the jnani is awake. The reality of non-duality, the reality of having reverted from the objects of the senses and come back to the truth of oneself as Satchidananda. To that reality, the people are totally asleep. And unto that reality, the jnani is awake. So the 36th verse is like that, So that's why Shete and Nistandritaha, both in the same breath it is used, not a contradiction. It is playing with the words here. Next one, more about the bed of the yogi. Bhutalamridu tarashayyaha शीतलवातैकचामरशान्तः राकाहिमकरदीपः राजति यतिराजशेखरः कोऽपि Bhutala mridutara. So the soft earth is the bed of the yati. The soft clay is the bed of the yati. Soft, like little mound of dirt may be there. And then the yati just flattens it a little bit and is able to sleep on that soft sand. No, sand we saw earlier, but the soft earth, bhutala. And then that is the bed of the yati. Oh, but where is the air conditioning? The air conditioning is the cool breeze. That is the fan. So there is no air conditioning, there is a fan. Oh, where is the fan? I don't see. Is it a fan with a little, what is that? What is that called? Room fan? Not the ceiling fan, but the fan that stands on a base, and then you can set it to move and set different speeds, slow, fast, 1, 2, 3, etc. Is it that kind of a fan? A standing separate fan? No. The Bhagavan's wind, the wind of the breeze sent by Bhagavan, the cool breeze. Shitala Vataika Chamaraha. So that's the only fan that is there, is the cool breezes sent by Bhagavan whenever, if ever, doesn't matter when it comes, but whenever it is there, that is the fan. So we have the bedroom of the yogi described here. So what are all the things in the bedroom? Bed must be there. And what is the bed? The soft earth is the bed, and the fan is Bhagavan given Vayu is the fan, and then Raka Himakara Deepaha. Then by the bed you need a lamp. It's just to read at night or whatever it is. So that is the moon. The moon is the personal lamp of the yati. Very nice. So this is the 37th verse, marks the description of the bedroom of the yati. So Rajati shines, Yati Raja Shekharaha. So the king of ascetics shines. Okay. So now we'll take a short 5-minute break. Don't go away. Just stretch and drink some water or whatever it is needed. And then we'll presently come back. All right. All the best. Om Tat Sat. Welcome back from the break, back to the Moksha Marathon. And now we are on verse number 38. Again, describing the various bedrooms of various kinds of these Avadhutas yogis. So, one more, it's almost like we are doing a house tour of various Avadhutas, and then some are sleeping on the river bank in a little grove of creepers, others are sleeping in the soft sand, they have made their home in the soft sand, and then yet others are yet others are in the what was that last one, they are resting on the bare ground, in the earth, in the dirt, they are there. And then some still yet others are there in on a, they are sleeping on a stone slab. So let us read this one. Okay, yeah. विपुलशिलातलफलके विमलसरिद्वारि परिवृतोदारे मन्दं मलयजपवने वाति प्रस्वपिति कोऽपि यतिराजः. So this is the verse number 38 we are on. So Vipula Shilatala Phalake. Vipula means huge. On a big, large slab of stone. On a large slab of stone, the person sleeps. And Prasvapiti. Vipula Shilatala Phalake. Prasvapiti Kopi Atirajaha. And then where is this stone? The stone is surrounded, the stone is at the bed of a stream, surrounded by Vimala Sarid Vari, by the cool, clear waters of the stream or river or whatever it is, and then it is surrounded. Parivrita Udare. So Parivritodare. So it is the slab is surrounded by this running stream, and so it is just at the foot of the stream, and then again there is a cool breeze. Mandam, soft breeze, gentle breeze. What kind of a breeze? Malayaja pavane. Here we have to be careful how to break the words here. So if we just read it like this and say Malaya is mountain, and then the next word is Japavane, in the forest of Japa, and also the context being like this, one can say it even fits, but that is not there. Malayaja, that which is born of the Malaya, the mountain breeze, that is what it is at. Malayaja Pavane. That is how to split that. It is not Malaya Japavane. Okay. Even though it's tempting, we can't do that. So Malaya Japavane. So Pavane, in that soft breeze, so in that soft mountain born breeze. That is what it Malayaja means, born of the mountain. So born of the mountain, this breeze which has gone through the mountains and is cool because it has come from a height, and then it is fanning the yogi who is sleeping on a stone slab surrounded by the cool clear water. So this is a glimpse into one more bedroom of another, of the Avadhuta, different ways of living, which is very similar, but different ways one can live. Then how does the person live? One more verse, number 39. Antaramekam kinchit santatam anusandhanam anusandhan mahamauni karaputa भिक्षामश्नन् अटतिः वीथ्यां जडाकृतिः कोऽपि आन्तरम् एकं किञ्चित् सन्ततम् अनुसन्धन् Mahamauni. So the saintly one, Mahamauni, the saintly and silent sage. The saintly, the silent one, the silent sage is inward bound and inwardly focused. And focused inwardly, what is the silent sage doing? There is a anusandhana. And what is the anusandhana there? There is a commitment. There is a inner ritual happening when santatam all the time. And what is that? The seeing the meaning, constantly dwelling upon the Mahavakya in the Upanishad, the sentences which show the oneness of the jiva with Ishvara, that oneness which transcends samsara and everything, that knowledge of oneness, one limitless consciousness, which happens to be I, which happens to be the truth of I and the truth of Ishvara. That is the anusandhana. So, anusandadhan means having taken up this anusandhana, Mahamauni, the silent sage, the great silent sage, is always focusing on something that cannot be identified as an object, the indescribable one, that which cannot be talked of as an object, that which is the truth of every object but is not any one object, that which is the truth of the subject who is looking at the object, that which is the truth of the eyes which connect the subject with the object, if it is something to be seen, just for the sake of example. So that which is the truth of everything, which is free of everything, the yogi is always contemplating on that. And then when they feel hungry, what do they do? Karaputa viksham ashnan. Ashnan, karaputa means handful. Handful of food, ashnan. So karaputa, one handful of food, bhiksha, alms received, eating that, ashnan, eating that, atati means they move around, where? Vithya. Now they have come to the city for bhiksha. So Vithya means among the cul-de-sacs, what is that? On the streets. Vithya, Vithi means the streets. So Vithyam in the streets. Where did the streets come? I thought they were in the forest. Yes, they were in the forest for sleeping, and then for their any kind of anusandhana, they were in the forest for nididhyasana. But then when hunger calls, they come to the city and roam around the streets asking for, or just quietly roam around the streets. Sometimes they don't even ask for bhiksha. Somebody thrusts some bhiksha in their hand and they eat that, and they continue to roam around in the streets till the bellies are full. And even here there are rules. And what kind of a sannyasi can beg from how many houses? All these rules are there. It is all listed in the Jeevan Mukti Viveka. Jeevan Mukti Viveka, there is one book by Swami Vidyaranya, and that talks about how much should the sannyasi eat. What kind of sannyasi, how much it is. So it is divided by age, it is divided by all kinds of, there are all kinds of rules. And also an Avadhuta, all these things, what they can eat, how many houses to beg, all these things. Avadhuta doesn't have any rules because the Avadhuta lives on a few morsels of food. That's all it is. It's not food focused at all. The Avadhuta is not a foodie. This is what the idea is. And then how does the Avadhuta move around the streets? And the answer given is Jadakritihi, like appearing, posing outwardly to be as good as a stump of a tree. Unnoticed. Jadakritihi means just how much attention does one pay to a lamp post on the side of the street? None. You don't, if it is gone one day, like some vandals have uprooted it and taken it, you don't miss it. You don't even know it's missing. This frequently happens. So, they take away the street lamp, the vandals, and then sometimes the children trying to have fun. They take away the street sign, so and so street. They take that away and put it in their dorm room in college, and they have stolen the street sign. you don't miss it, you don't even look for it. Because how much attention does anybody pay to a lamp post, a street sign, and a garbage can there, or some tree there, or some small building there? Nothing, you don't pay much attention. You are going about your walk on the streets, and you don't pay, just like you don't pay much attention to that. The yogi is jadakritihi. He is as good as an inert thing. No, he makes sure that he does not attract, she does not attract attention of any kind. Quietly goes around, quietly goes around doing things, quietly goes around collecting alms in order to feed themselves without really making a tamasha. Tamasha means a show. Without really making a big show of things, without really making a big, uh, to do about things. Oh, you know what? I'm knocking on your door and I'm an Avadhuta. You have to give me something. You will get good punya if you give me something. No such things. Very quietly, as though they are jada. That is one meaning of the word jadakritihi. Means they appear to be like a stone standing there. And nobody really talks to them. They don't mingle with anybody either. So that is one meaning of jadakritihi. Another meaning is jada is also used for someone who is idiotic. Oh, idiot. Hey, Jada Buddhi. You say, Jada Buddhi means the one who is an idiot, the one who does not think properly. So here they pose like that Jada Buddhi. They pose like that because they don't want to be involved in anything. They don't want to argue. They don't want to get into involved conversations. They don't want to get into various relationships. This is the friend, this is the spouse, this is the child, etc. So therefore, they act like an idiot so that everybody leaves them alone. So this is the idea, and so very nice. We see the daily dinacharya of the jnani, going about for bhiksha, etc. Let us see the 40th verse. प्रविलाप्य जगदशेषम् परिशिष्टाखण्डवस्तु परतन्त्रः प्राश्नाति कवलमास्ये प्राप्तं प्रारब्धकर्मणा कोऽपि. Two ideas are presented here. One is the teaching itself is talked about beautifully in the first line. And what is the teaching? The teaching becomes is expressed in the form of the jnani. It's not a practice of the jnani. It is very much in the form of the life of the jnani itself, because Vedanta is not a theory, nor is it a practice. It is just a body of knowledge. That's what it is. That's what it is. And so you can't say the yogi is practicing this knowledge. No, there is no practice here. It is the very life. It is a lived knowledge. And so this is we are getting a glimpse into the yogi living this knowledge. So Jagad Ashesham means the whole universe without a trace. Pravilapya, having resolved. And we saw how earlier in the yesterday's class, we saw how. So, viparita janikramaha, janikrama viparitaha. So, we saw how the yogi, resolves everything unto oneself in the reverse order of projection. We saw that. So, the creation goes a certain way, and then the resolution of everything on the part of the individual has to go backwards. So pravilapya jagadashesha. So everything is first reduced to the 5 elements, and the 5 elements are then again talked about as nothing but the manifestation of consciousness. So they are resolved into consciousness. Consciousness alone is. And that is what is left when the whole Jagat is resolved. That which upholds the Jagat, that consciousness alone is left. And so what is that consciousness? Parishishtaha, that which is left over. Parishishtaha. What is it like? Akhanda vastu. impartite. It doesn't have any parts. This vastu doesn't have any parts. So then the paratantraha means depending on something else, but that is not the description of the vastu. It is the description of the one who knows the vastu, that is the yogi. So the one who is dependent on that which is not dependent on anything, depending upon this knowledge, completely surrendering oneself to this knowledge, the remaining surrendered to this knowledge, the person, who is the person? The yati. The yati lives like that. The whole universe is resolved into the head, which is thinking of the universe, and then what is left in the head is that self-shining eye, and that self-shining eye is crowned as the only thing there is, upon which everything depends. Everything is paratantra upon that vastu alone. So knowing that full well, prashnati. Prashnati means eats. Kavalam, food. Just a bite full of food or a handful of food is called kavala, a morsel of food. And then asye means in the mouth. So puts the food in the mouth, eats it. Where did the food come from? The food came from karma. Food always comes from karma. Food doesn't come from anywhere else. If you are meant to eat, you will eat. No, I earned and I cooked and I ate. Okay, do an experiment. Don't cook. Don't eat. Let's see what happens. Sooner or later, more sooner than later, somebody will bring you something to eat. It always happens because you are supposed to be alive. So karma brings the food. Karma is the cook. Karma is the waiter who brings the food. Good karma. And then sometimes bad karma because sometimes you don't like the things you get. But generally good karma. And this prarabdha karma, that karma which is looking after the body and giving it its whatever just desserts. So that karma alone comes out and then gives the food. And so the yogi is just dependent on that karma alone, on that prarabdha karma alone. And that is that prarabdha alone one is dependent on, meaning the yogi is not making a restaurant reservation. Okay, table for one because I am away from everything else. Table for one, please, at prime time. And then, do you still have that dish I liked when I was there last time? Yes, sir, we still have it. Okay. So, reserve my table, reserve this dish for me. I'm going to be coming. And what time shall I make your reservation, sir? Okay, I make it at this time. This is not the yogi. Yogi is not making a reservation, and neither is the yogi is looking for food somewhere, making sure to arrange the food, collect money for arranging his or her own food. No such thing. There is no attempt to feed oneself. But still food comes because the yogi is supposed to be in this life, in this body right now. That's why the food is coming. So prarabdha karmana praptam prashnati, prakarshena ashnati, prashnati, kavalam asye, puts the food in the mouth and then just goes about the day knowing that I am not any of these things that I can get confused with. I'm not this, I'm not that. You keep telling yourself, and then you take in whatever comes as a result of karma. Next one. Nindati kimapi na yogi, nandati naiva param kimapyantaha, chandana shitala hridayaha, kandilatananda mantharaswaste. So who is this yogi? How does the yogi interact with the world? Continued. Nindati na kimapi nindati. Does not criticize anybody at all. Does not criticize. Nandati na eva aparam kimapyantaha. Neither is the yogi censures somebody, nor the yogi blames somebody. and finds fault. And so no censure, no blame, and nandati, no ecstasy, because the situation was favorable. And so you gave me a favorable situation, so I am going to praise you to the skies. That is absolutely not there. Why? Because the yogi has a cool and compassionate heart, cool as the sandal paste. Even on the hottest day, when you touch the sandal paste, it will always be cool. So cool like the sandal paste. Sandal, don't think the what you wear on the foot, okay? This is sandalwood. Sandal paste means sandalwood paste. So, Chandana Sheetala Hridaya, whose heart is as cool as the Chandan or the sandalwood paste. Kandalitananda Mantharaha, the one who is sprouting the treasure of Ananda. Whose Manthara means the treasure. And Kandalita means the treasure which is in the form of the sprouts of Ananda. Swaste. So the yogi happily lives without censure, without blame, without appreciation, without anything, staying away from any kind of interaction and knowing that I have a cool heart and I can keep this cool heart going for the sake of this, for the sake of the rest of whatever years are left. So this is the idea. Then next one, Santyajya Shastrajalam Samvyavaharam Cha Sarvatastyakva Ashritya Purna Padavim Aste Nishkampadipavadyogi. Santyajya. Santyajya means having nicely renounced, given up. What? Jalam, the net. Shastra Jalam, the net of the Shastra. Oh, I have to give up the Shastra. How will I get this knowledge? No, no, no. You will only give up the first portion of the Veda, which is a treatise in wish fulfillment. I want this, I want that, I have to have this, I have to have that. All that is not there. Santyajya Shastra Jalam. Samvyavaharam cha sarvatastyakva. Samvyavaharam means all these activities of all kinds. Go here, go there, buy this, buy that, please this one, please that one. All this is gone. No longer there. So sarvataha tyaktva, sarvatas tyaktva, giving up all round, giving up, not retaining one dysfunctional connection. Including the one with the first portion of the Veda, which does not speak to me anymore, says the yogi. And so the yogi takes refuge only in one thing, Purna Padavim Ashritya Aste. I take refuge in that fullness which includes me, which is everything, which is whole. I take refuge in that wholeness. And what is it like? What is the yogi like? Nishkampa Deepavat. Like an unwavering flame in their heart they live. They live like as though they are an unwavering flame. Committed to this knowledge, committed to teaching, committed to being this way. It's not one day I'm a yogi, another day I want to be a bhogi. All this is not there. There is no inner conflict. There is no outer conflict. So all that shines is nothing but fullness alone. There was one more thing. Yeah. Purna Padavi means also a feeling of I've had enough. I am full. I am satisfied. Everything is plenty. So Purva Padamim Aste. So this is a very nice verse. Let's see the next one. तृणपङ्कचर्चिताङ्गः तृणमिव विश्वं विलोकयन् योगी विहरति रहसि वनान्ते Vijaramara bhumni vishrantaha. So, Trinapanka charchitanga. Having slept in that on the bare stone slab, and having slept in the creeper grove, and having slept on the soft sand and the dirt, the body of the yogi is plastered with straw and dried leaves and dirt, cruds of dirt. So Charchita means the one who has all these dirt and leaves, dried leaves applied on the body. That one. And then what? Here also there is an alliteration. Trinamiva Vishwam Avalokya. So no, Vilokya, same thing. So the yogi looks upon the Vishwa as with as much importance, gives it as much importance as a blade of grass. If there is a blade of grass somewhere lying in your house, you don't even look at it, and it is totally invisible. Like this, for the yogi, the Jagat is as good as invisible, because the Jagat is not given the time of day. The focus is on oneself. And that's why Viharati Rahasi Vanante. Vanante, in the outskirts of the forest, Viharati moves around Rahasi. Rahasi means in secret. In secret, the yogi moves around. Vijara Amara Bhumni Vishrantaha. So Vishrantaha means the free of tiredness, free of exhaustion. Vijara Amara Bhumni. So the one who is who has gone beyond. Vijara means the no jara. Jara na vidyate yasya vijaraha. And then Maranam na vidyate yasya amaraha. So the one for whom there is no jara and there is no maranam. So there is no jara, there is no old age, and there is no death. This is where death means, again, it's not at the level of the body, because the yogi is not identifying with the body at all. So Vijara Amara Bhumni Vishrantaha. So sleeping where in this kind of a place, whose body is plastered with what is that? Dirt, soil, and then dried blades of grass and leaves of grass. They need it for the puja, and then they have to come and collect. So how to do that? You just bring this yogi. There is a story like this. So one time they wanted to collect some holy things for the puja of a Shivalinga, and then they wanted a yogi to come and bless this Kumbha Abhishekam, and then they couldn't find anybody, and then they found this person roaming around covered in all kinds of dirt and everything, and the head priest said, no, this will not do. This person will not do, because look at them. How can this person be a holy person? And then, as a miracle, the doors of the temple remained shut until that yogi came and stood there, and then only the doors opened. So this is the one. So the one who has collected all the dust and the dirt, and meaning who is not really interested in the upkeep of the body. But at the same time, the knowledge is such that there is no collection there at all. The Vishwam, the whole universe, is not collected in the head. That is the inner cleansing that the yogi has done, is free of all the collection in at the level of the buddhi. The buddhi is totally free. So the Vishwa is looked upon as something to be completely erased from the head, because it is as good as not there. It is a dependent reality, depending upon I, which is Atma, which is Bhagavan, which is Ishvara. So therefore, they remain totally free. So this dirty clothes and this dirt on the body, rubbing the dirt on the body, etc., is a disguise. Rahasi viharati. So they roam around in disguise because they don't want to be noticed. And when they are noticed, they don't want to be in an argument or in any kind of, they don't want to be in any kind of an interaction with anybody. And one of the holiest of sages in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, whose name is Raikva. And Raikva, everybody said, the Raikva knows everything. And so there was one king, Janashruti, who very much wanted to study Vedanta from the best of the masters. So he sent his army in all directions and said, find the best of Vedanta teachers and bring him to me. Easier said than done. Bring him to me. And then, as though the teacher is waiting to come to the palace, but Janashruti was ignorant, he did not know. So the army and the ministers, they went everywhere and they found out from the forest, all the holy people in the forest, who is the person who is the best teacher of Vedanta. Our king wants to study. I have been ordered to take him to the palace. And every yogi they encountered said, I am not the one because I don't know what Raikva knows. Go find Raikva. So then they could not find Raikva at all, and they were also told, this Raikva is not going to leave the forest and come to the palace. The king will have to come to the forest. So the king comes with 9 elephants filled with all kinds of treasures from the treasury as a Guru Dakshina in return for this knowledge. And so they look for Raikva here, hither and thither. They cannot find. And then finally they find someone sitting under a broken down chariot and full of dirt and or some kind of a skin disease, pus and blood oozing. And then as he is talking to the to the king, he is removing the scabs on his arms and legs. This was a very disgusting presentation of the Jnani. And then anybody who had encountered Raikva in this way would have said, doesn't matter, I will study Vedanta from a lesser guru, or I will forget Vedanta completely. This kind of a person has put me off of Vedanta totally for life. I don't need to study Vedanta. Maybe that sankalpa somebody would have come and somebody would have done and come back. But not our Janashruti. Not King Janashruti. He was able to look past all that and say, I definitely want you to teach me. He was able to ask for knowledge, even though he was so shocked at seeing this person who was so unkempt. The hair is all matted and dreadlocked, and the eyes are sunken, and the whole body is full of dirt and some skin disease. All these things was not a sight to be encountered every day. But this is a guise. And why should this disguise be there? Because they are not really into having any kind of an interaction with the world. That is why they pretend to be an idiot. We saw that a few verses ago. They go like as though they are Jada Buddhi and Jadadhi, and then they also go like this in a very unkempt state, so that Rahasi, so that in secret they can, move around in secret, unnoticed, from forest to forest, from city to city, town to town. But what they know, they alone know what they know. Nobody else looking at them will say, this person is a great jnani, because of one's own prejudice about how the jnani should look, how they should talk, etc. One has one's own projections. Okay, yeah. Next one. Pashyati kimapi na rupam न वदति न शृणोति किञ्चिदपि वचनं तिष्ठति निरुपमभूमनि निष्ठामवलम्ब्य काष्ठवद्योगी. So there the yogi was like a like a what is that? Like a inert thing, or someone who was kind of dull and not able to think at all. And then in the next verse, the few verses later, the yogi was full of dirt and dust and with leaves and tree twigs sticking to the hair and the body. And then here, the yogi is described as kashthavat, like a log of wood. And how interesting is a log of wood? It's not interesting at all. Who will interact with a log of wood? Nobody. And that is the idea. Unnoticed are these gems called Avadhutas. That is the idea. They are not there to show their knowledge of. They are not there to get validation from the universe. They don't need it. In fact, they don't think that the universe should even be given the time of day, because so much convinced they are of in their own nishtha. This is going to be talked about, in their own commitment to seeing themselves as Bhagavan, as Brahman. And so that becomes the only alambanam. Alambanam means they are only depending on that, nothing else. They don't depend on the Jagat, they don't depend on the people, they don't depend even on a concept of Ishvara that is separate from them. So the Jiva Jagat Ishvara, this triumvirate, has completely resolved into that Satchidananda Atma. Okay. So then, Pashyati kimapi na rupam. They don't see anything, any form. They don't see anything. If anybody goes by, okay, they have gone by. They don't hide their begging bowl. Oh, they may be after my bhiksha patram, let me hide it. No. Because there is no sense of me or mine, or whoever wants to take, let them take. It's okay. Oh, but what will I do without a begging bowl? The hand is the begging bowl. Hand itself is the bowl. After all, I eat with the hands. So there is one Yati Panchaka, 5 verses in honor of the Yati. And so in this Yati Panchakam, this is what is talked about. Moolam taroho kevalam ashrayantah panidvaye bhoktum amantrayantah kanthamiva streamapi kutsayantah, and then kaupinavantah khalu bhagyavantah. And this kaupinavantah khalu bhagyavantah becomes the refrain, the chorus, which is repeated at the end of each verse. Now this is very interesting. So kaupinavantaha means the one who have a loin cloth. The one who have a small loin cloth just to cover the body because society dictates it. So they are indeed bhagyavantaha, the most fortunate ones. They have bhaga, and they are the most fortunate ones. They are good fortune incarnate. Why? Because they don't have to make a down payment on a house. Where is their house? Taroho Moolam. That is their house. So Taroho Mule Vasanti, they live under the foot of the tree. And then where is their fine china, forks, spoons? Like if you see some royal dinner, if you see some some kind of a royal dinner, and then you have 3-4 forks on this side, 4-5 spoons and knives on this side, and then going from India, you are totally bewildered. Which one to use? For what? We don't know, because we are hand eaters. We don't know that. So here, the begging bowl is the hand, the panidvayam. So the pair of hands is the begging bowl, which is also the soup bowl, which is also the food bowl. It is the same bowl where you have dessert also. It's everything. And it is totally recyclable, reusable, biodegradable. So therefore, this is the yogi. He doesn't really invest in anything. And so this is so is not interested. So pashyati kimapi na pashyati, does not really see people, does not really see, oh, this one is rich, this one is wearing a suit and tie, I better be nice to them, and then the other one is dressed like a some kind of a riffraff, roadside riffraff. I don't have to give them the time of day. No such prejudices. In fact, doesn't see much, and then navadati, doesn't speak that much. The Avadhuta doesn't speak at all or very little. And then na shrinoti. Na shrinoti means does not hear. Kinchit api vachanam. You keep saying something. And the Avadhuta is totally, completely into oneself. They are into themselves, and so they neither talk nor hear. And let me just tell you this here, it is not a state. Okay, this is not some kind of a state. This is how they are all the time. This is what Nitin and I were discussing yesterday, and that maybe this Sadashivendra composed this in a state of trance spontaneously. Yes, we can say it was composed in a trance, but the trance here is not a state. The trance is the very being. The very being is totally fallen back on oneself as Satchidananda, and then there is no other reality for them. So, an individual person as a separate entity does not exist. So, na pashyati kimapi, na rupam pashyati kimapi, na vadati, na shrunoti. This is in fact taken from another place in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. And there it is said that the one who knows the Atma does not see anything. Does not see anything different from oneself. So, anyah san, anyat pashyati. Anyah san, anyat shrunoti. Anyah san, anyat vijanati. So, anyah san means when I have a separateness about myself, that I am the hearer, that identity I have, I am the seer, and I am this ahankara is going and connecting to the status of the seer and taking upon itself the status of the seer. So, anyah san, anyat pashyati. So, I am separate, and then I am seeing something that is separate from me. And I am separate, anyah san, anyat shrinoti, anyah san, anyat vijanati. Oh, there is this new something in town, some new item has come and it's on sale. Ah, this knowledge I didn't have. Thank you for telling me. Anyah san, that sale is different from me. That item which I want to get and accumulate is different from me. This is what the Brihadaranyaka says. That is why there is that this anya is there. The difference is there. For the yogi, everything is ananya, non-different. So, na anyat pashyati, na anyat shrinoti, na anyat vijanati. This is in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad and also in the 7th chapter of the Chandogya Upanishad. Very beautiful connections to the Upanishad. It must be very much there in the Avadhuta, the writer's mind, Sadashiva Brahmendra's mind. And so here it brings together both the Upanishads very beautifully. In the 7th chapter of the Chandogya Upanishad, Narada goes to Sanat Kumar, the teacher. So the student is the sage Narada, and Sanat Kumara, one of the direct disciples of Lord Dakshinamurti, is the teacher. And Narada says, I know so many things, O Lord, but I am still suffering from sadness. Please enlighten me, please help me cross. Shokasya param tarayatu bhavan. So may you please help me cross the ocean of sorrow. May you help me cross the ocean of samsara, bring me to the other side. And I'm really suffering from sorrow. And so then the Narada is asked by the teacher. Sanat Kumara asks him, tell me what you know so that I know where to begin. Should I begin Vedanta 101 or should I, since you are such a knowledgeable person, maybe I should begin Vedanta postgraduate class right now? Please tell me. And then tell me what all you know. And Narada gives an impressive list of all the things he has studied. Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, Atharva Veda. Oh, so he's a Chaturvedi, not just a Chaturvedi. He knows all the Vedangas, Shiksha, Kalpa, Vyakarana, Nirukta, Chandas, Jyotisham. All these are parts of the Veda, limbs of the Veda, appendages to the Veda. So how to do rituals and how to pronounce words, how to do rituals and grammar, and then synonyms and antonyms. And then meter, how to chant and how to compose in which kind of meter, which meter, how to chant, how many syllables, all these things. And astrology, astronomy, all these things are called Vedangas. I know that. And then there are certain Upavedas, meaning the appendages to the Vedas. And he says, I know that also. Shastra Vidya, Nakshatra Vidya, Ayurveda, this Veda, that Veda, everything I know. And then Sanat Kumara laughs. You know a lot, Narada, but you know a lot of nothing. Anyahasan, anyadvijanasitvam. You know, but you know it as separate from yourself. Why? Because you don't know what is that thing because of which the objects of knowledge are and because of which the subject of knowledge is. You don't know that one thing. And that one thing you need to know. And he says, okay, what is that one thing? It is called Bhuma, Bhuman, like Atman. And it declines as Bhuma, Atma, like that. So you don't know Bhuma. This Bhuma, what is this Bhuma? The teacher also has to use new words. Otherwise, one will say, been there, done that, and one doesn't listen, one doesn't pay attention. And especially for Narada, he has to be carefully taught because he already knows so much. And so all those conditionings have to drop. The resistance to knowing has to drop. And so all the preconditioned ideas, preconceived ideas about the Jagat, about Ishvara, etc. In fact, the more one knows, the harder it is to learn Vedanta because there's already a wall of notions that the teacher and the teaching has to have to penetrate through. And so here the teacher says that you just don't know Bhuma. What is this Bhuma? And then the teacher defines Bhuma using two sentences. First sentence, Yatra na anyat pashyati, na anyat shrinoti, na anyat vijanati. Sa Bhuma. That is Bhuma, where one does not see anything separate, anything does not know anything separate from oneself, does not hear anything separate from oneself. That is called Bhuma. And same thing is there in the first line of verse number 44, Na rupam pashyati kimapi. Anyahasan, meaning being separate, he or she does not see, na pashyati. But Ananya, from the standpoint of oneness, everything is one. So it is not that the person doesn't see. The person doesn't see the objects as different from oneself, the subject. So this is what Narada is told. The first definition of Bhuma is na anyat pashyati, na anyat shrinoti, na anyat vijanati, sa Bhuma. And then the second definition is yad alpam tad tanmartyam. Sana Bhuma, Tanna Bhuma. So this is not Bhuma. What is not Bhuma? That which is alpam, that which is small, is finite, is subject to death. That is not Bhuma. And what is Bhuma then? That which is not subject to death, that which is all, which is everything. And so the yogi, it's not that the yogi is blind or deaf. No, the yogi sees everything. But whatever the yogi's eyes fall on, immediately is non-separate from himself, herself. That is the idea. So then, na shrinoti kinchidapi vachanam. And further, tishtati nirupama bhumani is firmly established. Tishtati means lives in this bhuma, this incomparable bhuma. Lives in this bhuma, nishtham avalambya. And holding on to this bhuma, committed to understanding and being in this understanding of bhuma lifelong, kashtavad aste is like a log of wood in terms of interaction. So you can speak, you can talk, you don't get you don't get anywhere with this kind of a yogi. Very beautiful, and more we will see for us tomorrow in the tomorrow's class, and then for everybody else, I think it is for many people it is later on today, quote unquote. Anyhow, this just shows the arbitrariness of time. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
Thank you,
If there are any,
Swamiji. Yes, thank you,
thank you,
Swamiji.
thank you.
Yeah, if there are
Thank
any
you.
questions, we'll just wait for a minute. Viewers, if you
Sure.
have any questions, please type in the Q&A box. So we'll just wait, Swaminiji, if there are any
Sure,
questions.
no problem. I can wait.
I will also check on YouTube if there are any questions.
Yes.
We have not received any questions.
Okay, no problem. It's going so fast, it'll take some time to assimilate to even come up with a question. Yeah.
Yes, I think that is the reason, because too many things are there to reflect upon.
Yeah, to reflect upon. And this is a very reflexive
Yes.
text, but it's going very fast. So the people are just like the cows that graze in the Upanishad grasses very quickly, and then later on they will sit and chew the cud.
Yes, that's
Rumination.
a wonderful analogy. Okay.
Yeah.
ठीक है. Okay, viewers, if you have any questions, tomorrow morning session also you can put the questions. Swamini ji will answer.
Yes,
So
definitely.
sleep
We'll do
over
that.
the class session, reflect upon it,
Yes.
and come back. Tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. We'll again
Yes.
join the session.
And then we'll conclude in the for us tomorrow evening section.
Yes, tomorrow
Session.
evening
Okay.
will be the last concluding session.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Swamini ji.
Thank you very much for organizing this. Take care. All the best.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.